Hi, I'm Doug.
I'm Chris.
Um, Fact checker. We're going to talk a little bit about
Do we
that
have to use
today.
that word? Can we use like the?
Lying son of a bitches that they are.
I was going with a different F word, but hey, that works.
uh,
Yeah, here I'll start with the one I was just telling you about. I had one I put on there, and I was looking at Facebook, and I put something out, and it came back, and they labeled it as false news and put this thing on it. So I was like, okay, well, check it out. I mean, if I've got something wrong, I'll check it out. So it goes over to Politico, and it says, this has been deemed a false statement. Okay, so I scroll down and I'm looking at it, and I'm reading the article because it has the article underneath it. And I'm reading, I'm going, well, how is it a false statement? If I'm reading the article, it's right here. Then under that, and you have to scroll down a ways to find this stuff, under that, it has the video of the thing that they're saying is false news. I mean, and I have seen it to where they did one. It was something in the wording. Somebody had said something and something was wrong. And then when you got back to the wording, all it was 4 words were wrong in what they said.
but you know, the fact checker is on Facebook, and
Well, they already proved that some of the fact checkers on Facebook were hired by Facebook. You were working for the when all the Democrats were running against each other. We're working for them.
for the Democrats.
Yeah.
How can you be biased if you're looking this? I mean, you take Facebook. They've already said that they're going to start removing ads that were like the kid that shot over in
Wisconsin.
They're gonna start pulling ads off of there that condone what he did.
They consider that a mass shooting.
But it's not a mass shooting until he is convicted.
Well, even then, it's not a mass shooting. A mass shooting is just you're just shooting in the general public. And I've said before, you have to respect that kid's trigger control. He shot who attacked him, and only with all them people around, he only shot the people that attacked him. That's awesome trigger control.
You
in a stress situation.
In that kind of it's Google, Facebook, and who else that are
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's the big one. That are taking stuff off. It's like taking off some of Trump's stuff. But Joe Biden could get on there and said he's a pedophile, and they would leave that.
You don't have to get on there and say it. He shows it every so often.
Well, you know, I mean,
possibly
doesn't take nothing of his stuff off, but they'll take all the Republican stuff off. How can you be a fact checker?
They took the Hodge twins on, but they keep other people on that are way worse than the Hodge twins. They got that Antifa guy that's on, the leader of Antifa that's still on there. And they got that guy that does the black militia on there talking about he's going to come and take it and burn
everything down
and everything
if he doesn't
else.
get his way.
He's okay. He can stay, but the Hodge twins have to go.
Yeah. The Hodge twins are pretty funny.
Yeah, they are extremely funny.
I watch them all the time. But, I mean, isn't that kind of
Marxist?
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
When you control the media like that, yes, that's Marxist.
Yeah.
But
well, I hope it bites you in the ass.
Well, see, that's the problem I have with this. All right, yes, I will agree that Facebook, Twitter, that's their platform. They can do what they want to. They're allowed to do what they want to. But it's supposed to be fair.
Yes.
They are not supposed to control at all the narrative or correct the narrative, because then it makes it news and a news organization. Then they're liable. They don't get the protection that they have now. To be fair, you have to have the protection they have now so that it's a platform for everybody's opinion. Now they're controlling the narrative. That's not fair, and I don't think they should get the protection they have.
I hope. You know, it's they're doing it because they want it to be one-sided. Democratic side, you think?
Well, they've already what was it? Proven that Google and Facebook can push the election by I think it was like 30 points or something like that.
Yeah.
Just with how they control how you click.
It was I was talking to my brother, I don't know, yesterday, the day before yesterday, and he said he was sitting in his living room. This is kind of on this subject, but he was sitting in his living room talking to his son, and he was talking about maybe buying a new RV. And he didn't have Facebook on. He didn't have nothing on. He said that night he got on Facebook, guess what he was seeing ads for?
RVs?
Brand new RVs.
Well, yeah, if you put in a search.
No.
He
No.
didn't-
No.
He
He was talking to his son.
Talking to his son?
I know.
Well, now you're getting into the Big Brother thing with Google and stuff.
watching over you. But
well, I mean, you have to be understand something. All right, Google first there's no reason for Google. There's the Google Chrome, the search. There's no reason for it. We could have done the Netscape forever. They did Google because
remember
they wanted
Ask
to.
Jeeves?
Yeah, but they did the Chrome because they could calculate and control where you went and see where you went. That's the same thing with Android. What they figured out was everybody was going to their phone instead of doing it on their browser. They were using their phone, so they created Android. Android and Chrome are trackers. They track. You ever notice that if you search for something, somebody asked you to search, like my wife asked me to search for dream catchers one day. So I looked for one and I sent her a link. For like 2 weeks, I got every other thing that was popped up was Dreamcatcher this or something to do with that, and I'm like, what? It's what you search.
How can you be fair if you're taking the Democratic side on this thing and not taking and letting Republican speeches and stuff like that on? It's it just makes me just distrust you 100%.
Well, they're taking a voice away. They want to control. They control the media, and they didn't. What it is when Trump won in 2016, they didn't expect it, and his internet is what really rocked him. Twitter and Facebook and everything really got him.
Twitter is what won the election for him.
And they got upset about that and said that was never going to happen again. And they've had 4 years to figure out how they can make sure that never happens again. It's just, yeah. I remember when I was a kid, there was only 4 places to go for news. You had like ABC, NBC, CBS, and like some weird channel would come up, like Fox 35 or something.
We had channel 4, 5, 9, and sometimes channel 20 out of DC where I lived.
We only had 4 channels around here. They had 2, 6, 9. And 35. And if you were lucky, you could get 43 out of down south if the wind was just right. And see, I would go to my grandmother's. Yeah, I'm old. When I remember because I could watch HBO until midnight when HBO turned off.
But when you watch news, maybe I'm wrong on this. When you watch news back then, you got news.
But it was still controlled.
But back when I was young,
yeah,
when you watch Channel 4 News, you got the news. You didn't get that anchor's opinion. You didn't get the owner's of that.
Well, that was the whole thing.
That TV station's opinion.
They gave you the news and let you decide. Remember that?
Yes.
That was who was that? That was Walter Cronkite or something. We give you the news and let you decide.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now
you
it's
decide is out.
You
the
know
window.
what? There's only really a couple of channels that I watch that I feel that they're not aiming you towards the left or the right. I watch a lot of stations, but I only like a couple because they're not aiming me. They're not directing me to the Republican side or the Democratic side. I think it's funny. I get a lot of stuff to talk about
Yeah.
from some of these stations that.
Well, it's like I watch CNN and NBC and stuff or MNBC when I want to see what they're seeing, and I find it funny to see what they're seeing, what they're broadcasting and talking about, and then I match it to other ones or I match it to internet searches, and I'm like, how can you lie like that?
They're good at it and keep a straight face.
Yeah, Chris
Even
Cuomo,
the
oh
Republican
my
channels, even the Republican channels, they
they do the same thing.
how they and how keep a straight face and sleep at night.
So my best advice is watch CNN, then watch OAN, and then go right in the middle, because that's where it's at.
Yeah, it's
Because Chris Cuomo, you can see. I talked to a friend of mine in New York and we watch CNN sometimes while we're talking, and she will lose her mind sometimes over some of the stuff going on there and stuff they're doing. But yet, everything's wonderful in New York. They're the greatest place on earth. They're on fire and nobody's working and everybody's moving out.
yeah, all the rich people are moving out. It's
Well, they got gangs that got together and decided to do open season on police departments.
yeah.
What was it that's when they got 36 gangs that banded together, just start picking off cops if they get a chance?
No, it's a crying shame.
Pretty sure that's called organized crime. I'm not really positive.
Well, I'm Doug.
I'm Chris.
I think that's all I'm going to talk about on this one. It's sad. But if you like the show, thumbs up. If you want to talk about something, put it in the thing down below. And
If you don't want to talk about it, still put it down below and we'll debate it later.
yeah, and subscribe.
If you have an idea, let us know. Because that's where we want to keep this radio station. We want to keep it this podcast, whatever it is.
Going
with people's thoughts. What's on the people's mind.
Yeah. So remember, I'm Doug.
I'm Chris.
We'll talk to you on the next one. Bye.